The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
I need you to knock some sense into me. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, I don't know.
I enjoy listening to you. I don't always agree with everything.
All right, enough of this persiflage.
So, you want my question?
I'm certainly not going to get myself in trouble by telling you what to do.
That makes great sense. Gosh, that's good.
Did I overwhelm you with words and wisdom?
I've got 7 kids. I feel like I could call you every day.
Wait, you're telling me I'm wrong? Disconnect.
Yes, I am, Dr. Ray.
You just need to tune in to Dr. Ray, honey. He's got all the answers.
Am I right or am I right?
Probably.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Thank you for joining me here. Doctor's In, Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. So this falls into one of those days. It is Tuesday, although I'm hesitant to say that because my producer man, Andrew Kruchek, says don't date the show. Andrew, I don't date the show. I don't date anybody. I'm married. So, given that, you can still call in 877-573-7825. You have that? Let's make it easier. 877-57-EQUAL. That's the way to get onto the program. Very, very simple. If you have a question about something in your life, question about something in somebody else's life, question about life in general, as it intersects with your faith or it intersects with a frustration, or something you're not frustrated about. You just want to see if somebody else has a perspective that might help nudge you in a right direction. I'm not saying my perspective will guarantee help. You're taking a chance. Pays your money, you place your bets. 877-57-EQUAL. I'm Dr. Ray Guarendi. Program here, as the man said, is The Doctor Is In. What kind of doctor? Not a real doctor. I'm a psychologist. PhD, post-hole digger. Putterer in the history of Denmark. Permanent head damage. Pizza Hut driver. It's amazing how many things you can make out of PhD. Maybe that's our Lord's way of saying, don't get too full of yourself with your letters after your name. 877-57-EQUAL is the number. Very much. Would appreciate your calls. Would appreciate talking to you. You make the show. So a couple of items of business here. 2 weeks? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, about 2 weeks. We will be in Ann Arbor, Michigan, taping 4 episodes of Living Right with Dr. Ray. I don't know the exact audience numbers who have signed up. It is at Russell Video on October 28th and 29th. That's a Tuesday and a Wednesday. The show tapings are 5:30 and 7:15. You can come to one or all, however many you wish. Great guests, Dave Vacheress, Marcus Peter. We have also Joe Krupp, Father Joe Krupp. He is a popular dude. His audience filled up real fast. Now, we can only take so many. We're limited to signing up roughly 70 people. So, if you'd like to be part of that audience, go to AveMariaRadio.net. And right there on that first page, you can. They said it's a slider. I don't know what a slider is. I thought a slider was like an Arby's small sandwich, but you can sign up. I do think a couple of them are sold out. Well, bad way of putting it. They're not sold out. They're free, but they're filled. You can check on that. They'll tell you with the numbers. But there may be 1 or 2 shows still open. And if you'd like to be in the shows that are sold out, what you do is you come to an earlier show, and then you hang around, and you make sure that everybody shows up who said they were going to come. Doesn't always happen that way. AveMariaRadio.net. Also, and I haven't recorded this yet, and I don't think my son has put this on my website, but we are going to the Catholic University of America on November 11th and 12th in Washington, D.C., and we have a Guadalupe affiliate there in Washington, D.C., so we will get the information there. But once again, 4 shows of Living Right with Dr. Ray, the end tapings of season number 15. So there you go. The experts, and I use that word kind of loosely because nowadays pretty much anybody who self-anoints themselves as an expert gets the title, at least from most folks, whether it's a social worker, whether it's a counselor, whether it's a developmental psychologist, whether it's a teacher, whomever decides to say, I'm an expert. And there's a notion prominent among the experts. It's called pick your battles. Pick your battles. I've done monologues on this in the past, and I'm going to revisit it in the future. That's not the topic of this monologue. The topic of this monologue is, can you pick this particular battle? When the experts say pick your battles, what many of them mean is, if it's serious, let's say that we're dealing with the issue of disrespect. What is disrespect? Well, would that be yelling at you? Would it be a mean-spirited argument? Would it be a relentless, nagging challenge to your parental decision? What exactly would the disrespect be? Now, parents generally have to define that. But my suspicion is, and it's based upon having heard many quote-unquote experts talk about this, that certain types of disrespect are to be tolerated. They are a minor battle. It's a battle you don't want to pick. I'm going to discuss one shortly here. Now, before I do, I want to preface all this by saying my intent is not, especially you moms out there or wives, is not to make your husbands look like they can't read nonverbal cues. I am a highly trained professional communicator. So I can pick up on the very subtle pieces of frustration that a woman might exhibit. And don't get upset at your husband if he misses these sometimes, because he doesn't have my training. I'll give you an example. Picked up on something some years back when my daughter Sarah was still living at home. She was about 13 at the time. And I picked up that my wife was upset. Well, again, my training. Pulled into the driveway, parked the car, and Randy came out of the house, side door to the garage, and I sensed something. I sensed it. You know, just years of marriage, years of training, years of being connected to a woman's subtle emotional cues. She had 2 of the children by their arm, and she was saying, I do not like it, Ray, I am. I do not like it here or there. I do not like it anywhere. I do not like it. I don't care. Now, I picked up on that. Maybe not the first verse, but the second verse. I picked up on it because of my training. And I said, honey, are you upset? Notice my sensitivity. She said, it's Sarah. Now, I was immediately relieved because I didn't want to think that I did something wrong while I was gone. At that point, Sarah came out of the house. What do you want me to do now, Mom? Well, Sari, we always called her Sari. I need to sweep out the garage, and after that's done, I want you to take the vacuum cleaner, vacuum the steps and the upstairs hallway and your bedroom. And Sarah left. I said, honey, what's that all about? She said, I gave Sarah 2 hours worth of labor. Now, in our house, labor is a consequence. If you're going to do something that's either disrespectful or unpleasant or hurtful, you could get labor. You have to do chores the whole time. And you can't act like you're coming off of cocaine. You don't have to look like you're a person that's just a victim. You got to accept your labor with a gentle spirit. I said, 2 hours of labor. What did Sarah do? My wife said, you ready for this? She threw a brick through our front glass window. No, she didn't say that. She picked up a chair and she smashed it over the dining room table. No, she didn't say that. She strung together several curse words at her brother. No, she didn't say that either. She said she rolled her eyes at me. 2 hours worth of labor for rolling your eyes at your mom? Is that because rolling your eyes is so terrible? No. It's because your mother is so valuable. Oh, but Dr. Ray, come on. Teenagers roll their eyes. It's normal. And normal doesn't mean good. Sin is normal. Why? Because rolling eyes is disdainful. You don't think it is? Do it with anyone who says something, particularly someone close to you emotionally, that you disagree with. They say something you disagree with. Just roll your eyes. Just roll your eyes upward like, whatever. See how much they appreciate that. And they regale you with, you know what's so appealing about you? You're so transparent with your disdain and your frustration and feelings. You know that? I appreciate it. Our relationship is very open. There are no masks where you're concerned. No, you do that a few times and you're really going to irritate people. That's just an ugly thing to do to somebody, to roll their eyes. Disrespectful. In one of my books, I called it a back look. Not back talk, it's back look. My wife didn't allow that kind of disrespect in our home. It was demeaning. It was a battle that she picked. I think it's fair enough. Simple way to gauge whether a child's being disrespectful or not is to do the same thing to one of your friends or your boss or your pastor and see how much they like you after 1 month. Many experts would say, but 14-year-old children, they do this. This is part of the adolescent frustration response. Yeah, it is. It's not good. So my wife put a pretty heavy response on it. She told me that. She said, I gave her 2 hours. And I just looked and I rolled my eyes. Yeah, right. I knew better than that. 877-573-7825. 877-57 equal is the number to call to get onto the program. I would be delighted to hear from you. Absolutely. I'm Dr. Ray.
This program is brought to you by the following nonprofit underwriter.
Are you longing to hear God's voice? Lord, Teach Me to Pray, the free Ignatian Prayer Series will open your heart to His voice, to the peace you are seeking, and the only love that fulfills the human heart, Jesus. God is calling you to true joy, knowing Jesus personally. Lord, Teach Me to Pray is free. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com, click on the red box, order the Lord Teach Me to Pray series now. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com.
CMF Curo is a Catholic healthcare ministry providing families nationwide with a better solution centered around whole health, spirit, mind, and body. Our members share their medical burdens within a faith-filled community. At CMF Curo, our members have access to a spiritual director, concierge services, and other health and spiritual resources. Find out if CMF Curo is a better solution for your family. Visit mycatholichealthcare.com. That's mycatholichealthcare.com.
He is only one of 4 popes honored as the Great.
Matthew Bunsen and the Doctors of the Church.
St. Leo I was pope at a time when Roman civilization was being overrun by barbarian armies. He stood as a light in the darkness and even saved the city of Rome from destruction by Attila and the Huns. Leo died in 461.
For more about the Doctors of the Church, visit doctorsofthechurch.com.
This program brought to you in part by Ave Maria, Florida, a big kind of small town where golf carts take you everywhere and there's always something fun around the corner. Discover championship golf, resort-style amenities, and a town center full of shopping and dining. With Ave Maria University and Ave Maria Catholic Church at its heart, it's a community full of connection and charm. More than 25 model homes are available for viewing. More information can be found at avemaria.com. That's avemaria.com.
Very nice to have you with me, Dr. Ray Guarendi. Program Doctor is in. Remember to get onto the program, 877-57-EQUAL. Very much love to hear from you. Linda's calling from Denver, Colorado. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Dr. Ray. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, thank you.
So,
your turn.
Question is... Okay. My question is, I have some adult children, 4 children. They don't really practice their faith at all. And I have the grandchildren come and stay with me quite a bit. And, you know, their parents are fine. Whenever they're with me, we go to church on Sunday, and that's totally fine with their parents. My concern is my one granddaughter just turned 9, and I feel like she has some anxiety all about God. She loves asking a lot of questions and everything, but because her parents don't really believe in God, she seems very concerned about them. And, you know, I try and just respond that I'm always praying for them, and I think that someday they will believe more in God, and that, you know, I have faith and hope and trust. But I think for her, it's difficult. You know, she is excited about the church and about God, and she, you know, loves me, her grandmother, and yet she loves her parents too. And so the more she learns and finds out, the more concerned she is that they don't believe in God. And I don't want to, you know, add to her anxiety. She's, you know, a thumb sucker. She has some dyslexia and some learning issues now that are coming to light. But I don't know how to, I want to encourage her, and I definitely want to teach her all I can about the faith, but I don't want to contribute to her anxiety.
Do her questions fall into 2 categories? On one hand, things she doesn't understand about the faith, and on the other hand, do I have to worry about my parents' well-being after they die?
Yes, I believe so. You know, she'll ask about, you know, the crucifix, Christ on the cross, and why is he there, and things like that. And then I'll read stories from the Bible. And then I don't know if she associates, like, I've never said, you know, that people that don't believe in God go to hell. I've never mentioned anything like that. I don't believe that. But she does kind of say, but she asks me questions, like, what about my parents who don't believe in God? What about them? You know, and then sometimes she'll say, I don't believe in God because my mom doesn't. But then her mom, I think, will kind of appease her and say, oh, I believe in God. I just don't know what to believe about God. Like, she doesn't really believe the Bible and things like that. So she kind of will go that route. And then when she's with me, she likes the Catholic aspect of it, and she goes that route. So I feel like she's just kind of, you know, has some anxiety about it, because she does ask, like, what about my mom and dad, you know, if they don't believe, and that kind of thing. Because I say it's important that we go to church, you know, on Sunday. And it's like, well, they don't go to church on Sunday, and things like that.
Try telling her this, Linda. Say, it is good that you believe, because as you live what you believe, honey, and you become a beautiful young lady because of it, your mom and dad are going to see what good religion can do, and you'll be the one that leads them there. What if you told her that?
Yeah, I think that's good. I have kind of mentioned that too. Like, I'm always praying for them, and it's good if we pray for them, and I believe that someday they will come to believe. But I haven't put it in that.
You're talking about praying for them, but let's connect her. Let's connect her to this whole process. You could tell her, this is wonderful, honey, that you believe and you know what you know. This is wonderful because in a lot of families, it only takes one person to live what they believe, and the other people eventually start thinking about it, and they come along. So that's what probably God wants you to do, to show your parents how beautiful it is that you believe this.
Yeah.
That's what I'd tell her.
That's a good thing. Do you also have any, any advice about thumb sucking? Because she's turned 9. She's been a thumb sucker. She's quit it for a while, and then when school starts, she kind of starts again. And she kind of, now she's getting orthodontics and places in her teeth where she won't be able to suck her thumb. And I almost am more scared about that. Like, is it going to take another form then if she needs that for some type of comfort or something?
A lot of times it's just a habit. It's just a bad habit.
Yeah.
It is something that's not hygienic. You're taking all the germs on your thumb wherever you pick them up, and you take them straight to your mouth. I would want to know what the parents want to do about this, whether they would want to have some behavioral approach, which you can do. You could say, honey, anytime you're watching TV or anytime you're doing something, if your thumb goes in your mouth, I'm going to end it. I'm going to end the activity. Now, some people say, she just does it when she's in bed. They can't see her. She does it when she's in bed. Some parents will get some kind of thumb-sucking material to kind of put on the thumb. Some people say, I'm going to have her wear mittens to break the habit. I'm going to have them wear gloves, those kinds of things. It's mostly behavioral. And I think, Linda, what you're saying is that you're nervous that this habit of hers indicates some kind of psychological insecurity.
Right.
Probably not. It's probably just a little kid who's got a sensitive temperament. Maybe she's a little immature for her age. Maybe she overthinks some of her concerns. And maybe the thumb is a source of somehow preoccupation for emotional comfort. That could be. But the fact that if you break the habit doesn't mean you're stripping her of some kind of coping device that she's going to turn into trichotillomania and start pulling on hairs or picking her eyebrows or things like this. Not likely. Not likely. Much of the time it's just a habit that has to be broken, and how they choose to break this habit usually is a behavioral approach. It's not something you can talk her out of. You're not going to say, honey, why do you do that? You don't need to do that. There's germs on your thumb. Because that probably wouldn't be potent enough to make her go, okay, never thought of it that way. Thanks, Grandma. I'll keep my thumb away. No, you're going to probably have to connect it to things. You might have to say at your house, honey, I know you like to suck your thumb, but it's a bad habit because it's germy. So if you do that here, you got to understand, I'm going to stop the activity that we're doing because you can't put your thumb in your mouth while we do the activity. Try that.
Yeah, that's a good idea to relate it to the activity, because it is more if she's tired and stuff. And I have rewarded her. I always check on her at night when she's at my house, and sometimes I go in and her thumb's in her mouth, she's sleepy, and I'll just pull it out. And the other times I go in, it's not in her mouth, so I'll always tell the next morning, I went and checked, and you
thumb in
your mouth.
There you go.
Always excited about that.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate the call, dear. 877-57-EQUAL. That's the number. We got lines open. If you want them, they're yours.
The following program is brought to you in part by MyCatholicWill.com. Surveys show that more than half of Americans do not have a will. At MyCatholicWill.com, it takes as little as 15 minutes to write your will and secure a legacy of faith. MyCatholicWill.com is the exclusive online destination for creating a Catholic will. The process of writing a will is simple and now more accessible than ever. MyCatholicWill.com, a legacy of faith for those you love.
60 on 10 with Monsignor Charles Pope.
The fourth commandment, honor your father and your mother. This commandment enjoins on us as young children not only obedience to their parents and even older children, great honor for them, but also gratitude for all of our elders, teachers, employers, and leaders. It also directs citizens to a proper love of our country. So it's a rich commandment. And it also puts great requirements on those who are in those positions to be worthy of the honor that is due them. This commandment is fundamentally given to us by God because without respect for our elders, there can be no teaching, and we cannot hand on the wisdom of previous generations. This commandment is rich and it is for us. The fourth commandment, honor your father and your mother.
For more about the 10 Commandments, visit EWTNRC.com.
Strained or broken relationships are a given in most of our lives. Friends fall away, siblings drift apart, children sever ties with their parents, and despite our best efforts, these painful fissures are difficult to mend. Hi, I'm Dr. Ray. If you want to learn how to communicate better with the difficult people in your life and be a more easygoing, more forgiving person, check out my book, How to Get Along with Almost Everybody. Check it out. And all my other books on the store page at AveMariaRadio.net. That's AveMariaRadio.net. Very nice to have you with me. And the doctor is in 877-573-7825. 877-57 number to call to get on to the program. I'd like to very much thank Catholic Family Land, allowing me to speak at their huge conference that they had over the weekend. They had, I think, 12 parents there and 295 children. Okay, they did have more parents than that, but they also had more children than that. They were everywhere. According to that old movie, somebody must have fed them after midnight because they multiplied. And when I pulled up to park, all I saw were these big vans. Big, honking, long, extended vans. I also want to thank All Saints Church in Guilford, Indiana. Spoke on marriage there to the folks. They had a very, very warm turnout, so appreciate that so very, very much. Like my next gig will be a little quiet here for a week or so. Normally don't go more than a week or so without speaking somewhere, but heading to Ave Maria Radio Land at Russell Video to do tapings of the TV show. Andrew, would you ask Bryant, or maybe I can even text him, to see what the numbers are so I can tell people which ones are still open as we try to fill up the audience. 877-57 that is the number to call to get onto the phone. If we want to go to Angel from Pennsylvania. Hi, Angel.
Hi, Dr. Ray. How are you? How's my fave? You're so amazing.
Don't stop. Wait a minute. That was only 2 compliments. One of the things I've been talking to Andrew about is that we take calls that have minimum of 5 compliments. I don't know how you slip through. I'm going to let it happen. Don't let it happen again. Right.
I promise not to.
What's going on?
Weird. I was in my car last Wednesday, and it was in a big parking lot parked in the distance, and started the engine, and it's a new vehicle, but the seat decided to take a mind of its own and crushed me into the steering wheel. I couldn't release it. My ribs and everything were crushed. My arms were held. And I had no choice but to scream. Luckily, my door was opened. It went on for about 3 minutes, and I was ready to pass out when 3 men came along and released me. But I'm getting scared of my car. I'm working on getting it fixed right now, but I'm scared. Every time I get into it, I'm flipping out. I don't feel comfortable. How can I stop this?
Well, you can flip out, but that doesn't mean you don't have to sit there.
Right.
That was very freaky. It was quite unusual. And if you recognize that the only way to undo the anxiety is to get into the car and start it up, and the next 25 times that it doesn't move forward with a mind of its own, you'll slowly be less anxious. Now, I hesitate to tell you this, Angel, because I really don't think this is a good way to look at anxiety. But if you feel that you would have some type of escape route, should it ever do that again, highly unlikely, but should it ever, the one in a bazillion chance that it does that again.
Right.
The first time it happened, and I'm assuming it's an electric seat. So the first time it happened, you didn't know what was going on, and you just sat there as it moved you forward, and you were kind of pinned against the steering wheel.
Yes.
If it ever happens again, which is a big, big, big if, as soon as you feel it moving, get out.
Yeah.
You will have a couple of seconds.
Right.
But I hesitate to even tell you that, because one of the biggest problems with anxiety is that people look for an escape route when they are in a situation where they potentially fear something happening, even if it's not dangerous. They look for an escape route, and they take that escape route. As soon as they start to feel their anxiety kind of ticking upwards, they get out of there. And if you do that, if you sit in that seat and you feel yourself start to get anxious and you get out of that car immediately, the one thing you're doing, you are locking in that anxiety. When you get out, you'll feel relieved. For a few seconds, you'll feel, oh, okay, I'm okay now. I'll calm down. I'm fine. I'll just lean against the car. But what you just did is you trained your body. Oh, okay. Well, when I get there and I sit down to relieve my anxiousness, I'll get out. Then I won't be anxious anymore. That's true. Until the next time you get into the car, at which point your anxiety will come on quicker and harder.
Exactly. Oh, my God. That's true. It's happening.
It's anxiety 101. It really is.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
All right, Angel. Thanks for the call, honey.
I'll work on this. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank you. That is typically how a lot of anxious scenarios start. There's a situation that provokes anxiety. Whether in Angel's case it was something unexpected and it was unpleasant for the 2 or 3 minutes before she could extricate herself, or it's something that maybe you got nipped by a dog. And then your fear around dogs started to root, settled in. So it's not unusual for, I'm sorry, I sounded like Tom Jones there. It's not unusual, for those of you old as I am to know that song, for an experience that is ugly or scary or unsettling to happen. Just by chance. I mean, Angel's situation with that car seat that's weird, okay? And it's happened by chance. Who would have expected it? I've been driving for a long time. I've never, ever, 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 ever had that happen. Of course, with the junkers that I drive, an electric seat would be weird. I have to reach down and grab the little handle and pull on it. Nevertheless, something bad happens in a certain situation, you avoid the situation in the future because you fear that happening again. And it doesn't even have to be conscious. Your body remembers it. It's anxious memory is what it is. And there is no danger. I mean, when Angel gets in her car, the odds of that happening again are so low. But the anxiety is real because it was ginned up last time she was sitting in the car. 877-57-EQUAL. Give me a call. I'm Dr. Ray.
What makes an act moral or immoral? The Catechism of the Catholic Church lays out specific criteria for us to follow. When he acts deliberately, man is, so to speak, the father of his acts. Acts freely chosen can be morally evaluated as either good or evil. The sources on which the morality of an act are determined are three. 1. The object chosen. 2. The intent of the act. 3. The circumstances surrounding the act. To be moral, the object of the act itself must be good and the intention pure. The circumstances are secondary to the first two criteria. They can increase or diminish the morality of the act. For instance, stealing a candy bar is wrong, but far less evil than robbing a bank. Intent and circumstance, however, cannot change the moral quality of the act itself. The end does not justify the means. This is Peggy Stanton, and this has been the Order of Malta's Minute with the Catechism.
Christ is the answer, with Father John Riccardo.
In the midst of our culture today, in this age of relativism, which wants to grant Jesus some significance, but not so much, so we'll give him wise man, great leader, inspiring preacher, great teacher, prophet. You don't get that option when you claim to be God. What reasons do we have to believe that he is who he said he is? And it's important, again, to employ the use of our reason and to understand that faith is not blind. My faith, and please God, the faith of everyone here, is not blind. It rests on something. It rests on a number of things, not least of which is my own experience of God, but it also has something substantial which can be claimed through history. We're not talking about a galaxy long, long ago, far, far away when we talk about Jesus. We're talking about a precise moment in history which has been testified to by countless testimonies, and you and I have access to them.
I lost our dog. Our dog's a big Rottweiler. And she ran away. So my wife didn't agree with this, but I thought it was helpful. I put an ad in the Facebook Marketplace. It said, "Here, girl, come on home." She did come, but I don't know if it was because of my ad. All right, nice to have you. I'm going to go on to your calls here in a moment. By the way, the bottom part of the show, we still have room. We always have room. When you call in, situation is we will take you and get you up here as quick as we can. Let's go to Robert from, that's Louisiana. That's not L.A. Hey, Robert. Robert, you there, sir?
Yes, sir.
All righty, what's up?
Hey, I just had a question. Going through some, I'm Catholic, and always wonder if you do something to anger God, if it's my fault, or I left Texas about 8-9 months ago. Rediscovered some family up in Pennsylvania, moved up there. I bought a beautiful, beautiful house up there. Had a job up there, and 2 weeks after I was gone working the job, the house got robbed. So I never could feel the same about the situation again. I got another job, and that didn't work out. So now I got this offer down in Florida, so I took that. Went down there, and that job, I ended up getting fired off that job for some reason. Now I'm going back home to Texas to try to regain my business and my old life back. And I wanted to see, what's going on here. I mean, did I anger God? Was it because I didn't appreciate the gifts I had at the time? Or I'm just trying to figure everything out.
You quit your job because your house was robbed?
Yeah. Well, I didn't quit my job. When I quit that job working out of town to take another job locally. And when I got that job, I worked for a real jerk. They promised me everything. Then they ended up getting rid of me a couple of days later. And so I took a very low-paying job. And trust me, I was trying to find work up there. I couldn't get anything meaningful. I couldn't get anything that paid any. And I just couldn't feel the same about the house or the area after that. But, yeah, that's what I did.
There was there was something when I was in grad school when we were learning how to interpret what they called projective tests, like an ink blot test. It was something called illusory correlation. And what that meant was that two events happened, and you thought they were related, but they weren't related at all. So it was illusory correlation because in your head, you created a connection. Are you familiar with our Lord when he was talking to folks and he said, do you think that, and I got to get my details right on this, I think it was a tower that collapsed and killed a whole bunch of people. Do you think it was because they were more sinners than anybody else? And the point he was making was, no, of course not. Towers collapse. Don't blame God for that. And I think you got a little bit of that tower collapsed on me mindset, which is, well, I did this, and God decided to smack me upside the head to tell me that what I did was stupid or wrong. Right? Is that what you're thinking?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, well, do you recognize that as illogical, irrational?
That's the thing. I don't know. When I did that, I got out of there, then went down to Florida, and that didn't work. So, okay, that's strike two. And, I just don't know.
So you think God was at the cause of these happenings in your life, that somehow you made a bad decision and God said, I don't want you there, and I'm gonna smack you upside the head with a 2x4?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it's because I wasn't grateful. I didn't appreciate what I had at the time.
Boy, you are stretching it, Robert.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
You really are.
Yeah.
You can't lay this at the feet of God, so to speak, anthropologically speaking. Lay this on God because some things didn't work out. Things don't work out all the time. And if you look around and say, what did I do foolish? What did I do wrong? Now, it is true that when you make bad decisions, bad things can happen. That's true. You didn't make a bad decision. You made a decision that you thought would be a good one. In your judgment, you thought this was something positive. Well, it turned out it wasn't. I don't know how many times I made decisions I thought were positive that didn't work out. I stopped counting it was close to 1,000. I stopped counting. That's life.
Yes, and that's that's what I was wondering. So it just the one positive thing about it all is it has opened my eyes to see that, to be grateful in things, to appreciate what you have.
Well, that's a good lesson. That's a good lesson. But to stretch it any further and say somehow I must be making some bad moves because God is telling me by some of this stuff not working out, that's a major stretch. Major. Especially since you didn't say, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go work as a bouncer in a strip club. No, you didn't make some kind of foolish, immoral decision like that. You just said I moved because I thought I had a better opportunity, and turned out didn't work out.
Yeah.
I don't think God wants to be blamed for that. Nah.
Nothing I should. Yeah.
And you know what else is going to happen to you if you do that? You're going to be afraid to make future decisions because you're going to go, well, okay, I think this is good, but what if I get smacked again?
Yeah, it's pretty much the way I am right now.
Yeah.
Questioning everything, you know?
Yeah, talk about paralyzing yourself. You're doing it because your thinking is askew, not because somehow God's involved in this.
Yeah, well, my whole life is literally turned upside down the last 9 months, and it's just like, it's just fearful. It's put fear.
One thing to say. It's one thing to say I've been in a string of moves that didn't work out. That's one thing to say. That's perfectly legit. But to then say, well, I better be careful, because if I make another move that doesn't work out, I'm going to get slammed to the ground again by God of the universe. Ooh. My friend, you got to ditch that thinking.
Okay.
You hold on to that, and you're going to be quivering every time it comes time to make a judgment. You know, I bought that car, and I thought it was a good deal, and I had it for 2 weeks, and a transmission went out. Oh, God's telling me I should be more grateful about having a car. That's what it is. No, the transmission went out.
So things happen.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah, it's this thing, like on the tell you what happened. Went down to Florida to get the job there after everything happened up north. Last day of probation, they got rid of me, and people are like shaking their heads. Like, I mean, it was a dream job, and so that was another thing that knocked me for a loop. Kind of like, when Lucy pulls a football away from Charlie Brown. And
yeah, it was a bad happening. It was an unfortunate, distressing event, but you can't stretch it any further than that. Unless you were a jerk on the job, then you need to look at yourself. But if you weren't, then you realize somehow, some way, they either pulled a fast one on you, or they just decided you weren't a fit for the job. I don't know. But and taking it any further than that is really going to affect your future, because now you're not going to be able to make good decisions for fear. There you go, Robert. Hey, thanks for the call, buddy. I appreciate it. This is Dr. Ray. Bye.
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
In her diary, St. Faustina wrote, "If only I had a spiritual director from the beginning, I would not have wasted so many of God's graces. If even the saints needed spiritual guidance, how much more do we?" The nonprofit Revive app lets you meet virtually with certified spiritual companions, scheduling sessions at your convenience, helping you grow closer to Christ. Your first 2 sessions are free. Download the Revive app today. That's REVIV, and then the number 3.
Hello, Steve Ray here from Footprints of God Pilgrimages. The land of our Lord and our Lady is calling us. We're heading back to the Holy Land over Christmas break this year. We have the best, most reliable guides and services awaiting us. The holy sites are open, and the local Christians are anxious to see us. Galilee, Jerusalem, Nazareth, Bethlehem. No crowds, no lines. Hope you can join us.
Find the Ave Maria Radio travel tab at AveMariaRadio.net. Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically owned shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866 Ave Maria or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
Alrighty, let's go to Tony. Tony from New Orleans, Louisiana. I think we might be able to fix this up relatively quickly. Hi, Tony.
Hello, Dr. Ray. How are you?
You got a second grade son who seems to throw fits when he doesn't get what he wants.
That is correct. I've actually called a while back, probably when he was in kindergarten, and spoke to you about the same types of behavior. And then, as he's gotten older, kind of the behavior subsided for a while, but now these last couple weeks, he's in second grade now, so about 2 weeks ago, same thing, threw a fit, refusing to go to school. We brought him to school, and he tried to run away from school. One of the teachers grabbed him and brought him in, and he was having a fit, kicking and screaming, and finally calmed down. They called me and told me, hey, just want to let you know we grabbed him, and he calmed down. Then yesterday, he refused to get out of the car. I then proceeded to say, I'm not going to wrestle you. So I drove him home. My husband then put him in his truck and took him to school. I called the disciplinarian before and say, hey, heads up. I just want to let you know because they've been helping us deal with this. Because that last episode a couple weeks ago, kind of raised everyone's eyebrows. And so I let her know, and they met my husband at the office. He tried to run away from my husband again. My husband carried him to the disciplinarian's office, kicking and screaming, trying to heal himself away from my husband. Then the disciplinarian's like, you can leave. Now, this is a lady, a woman disciplinarian, by the way, brought him in the office, and he proceeded to almost trash her office, called her profanities. She's like, son, why are you doing this? He said, I want to be expelled. I don't want to be at school. I want to be at home. I want to go to work. I don't want to be at school. So,
Tony, I'm going to have to interrupt you because we got 2 minutes left, so you have to call me back. Well, the first thing most shrinks would say is do a little exploring and find out if anything's going on at school. Is he being bullied? Is there gym class he doesn't want to go to? Is there a teacher he doesn't like? Find out if there's anything going on at school to make him say, I'm not gone no matter what. That's the first thing. Second thing, in most cases like this, I worked in the schools for years. In most cases like this, it isn't necessarily something like that. It's just I've decided I don't want to go there anymore. I don't like it. It's boring. I don't want to be there. I'd rather be at home. Now, some kids are quite capable of eruptions at resisting. It's who they are. Now, I don't know what your son's temperament is like, and I really don't know, Tony, what your discipline skills are like. However, there's a couple things you might try. And after you establish that there isn't anything at school that can be rectified, you tell him, well, first of all, you tell him that if you throw another one of these fits, it's automatic, son. You're going to be without privileges for 5 days. Dessert, outside, stuffed animals, friends, toys. If we go out to eat, you'll watch because I will have given you a sandwich at home. That's it. That's it. You will have shut down your perk existence. These kinds of fits, especially toward the authorities at the school, which leads me to my next question. And I know we've only got about 40 seconds, so you're going to have to answer this quick, Tony, and you call me back. What did you do when he did all this at school? What was the result? To him, what'd you do?
We gave him some time to come out to eat and then move around. Like, he needs to move around.
Okay, so you didn't put any consequences on it?
Well, we have in the past, but nothing really has done anything. Like,
okay.
We'll tell him, son.
I'm going to have to run, but it sounds like it was minimal consequences, which is what oftentimes happens. Call me back, please, Tony. This is Dr. Ray. I got to run. The show says shut up. Walk with God.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.